feels alone in this journey of life. Now let me ask you something deeper. Have you ever felt that after a certain age, life becomes quieter, slower, sometimes even emptier? The phone rings less. People visit less. Your body doesn't feel the same. And sometimes you sit alone thinking, is this how life will be now? If you've ever felt that, you're not alone. But here's the truth, most people never tell you. Happiness after 70 is not gone. It's just hidden in the small things. And the happiest people, they have discovered something powerful. They don't wait for big changes. They don't depend on others. They focus on small daily habits that quietly transform their life. Simple things, so small that most people ignore them. But those who practice them feel more peaceful, more connected, more alive every single day. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 small things that the happiest people after 70 do every single day. These are not difficult. You don't need money. You don't need perfect health. You just need willingness. And I promise you, if you start even one of these habits today, your life can begin to change. Not overnight, but slowly, gently, beautifully. So stay with me till the end, because sometimes one small idea can change the way you live forever. Take a deep breath. Relax your mind, and let's begin this journey together. Thing 1, they start the day with gratitude. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, what is the very first thought that comes into your mind? Is it, my body hurts, another long day, I feel tired already? Or is it something different? Because the happiest people after 70, they have a habit that quietly changes everything. They don't start their day with complaints. They start their day with gratitude. Not big, complicated gratitude. Not long prayers or rituals. Just a simple, honest feeling. Thank you, I woke up today. Now this may sound small, almost too simple, but listen carefully. This one habit has the power to change your entire mood, your energy, your life. Let me tell you a story. There is a woman named Sana. She is 79 years old. She lives alone in a small house. Her husband passed away years ago. Her children live in another country. And yes, her body is not the same anymore. Her knees ache when she walks. Her back hurts when she stands too long. Some mornings she wakes up slowly, holding her side, breathing deeply. But here's what makes Sarah different. Every morning, she sits by her window with a simple cup of tea in her hands. She looks outside, at the sky, the light, the quiet world, and she softly says, "Thank you for one more day." That's it. No one hears her. No one is there to respond. But in that moment, something changes inside her. Her pain doesn't disappear, but her heart feels lighter. Her problems don't vanish, but her mind feels calmer, because gratitude does not remove difficulty. It changes how you carry it. Now think about this. After 70, life may not get easier, but your perspective can become stronger. And the happiest people understand this deeply. They know, if I focus on what I lost, I will feel empty. But if I focus on what I still have, I will feel rich. And what do they still have? Another morning, another breath, another chance to see the sunlight, another chance to live even in small ways. One 82-year-old man once said, "I don't wake up expecting a perfect day. I wake up thankful I still have a day." That is wisdom. Because the truth is, many people go to sleep but never wake up again. And if you are watching this right now, you have been given something priceless. A new day. So instead of starting your morning with worry, try this simple habit. When you wake up tomorrow, before you check your phone, before you stand up, just pause. Place your hand on your chest and say quietly, "Thank you, I'm still here." You don't need anything more. No perfect health, no perfect life, just awareness. And slowly, you will notice something beautiful. Your mornings feel softer, your thoughts feel calmer, and your heart feels at peace. Sarah once said something very powerful. She said, "When I stopped complaining about what I lost, I finally started enjoying what I have." That is the secret. Because after 70, happiness doesn't come from gaining more. It comes from appreciating what remains. And gratitude is the first step. So my dear friend, tomorrow morning, give yourself this small gift. Not money, not effort, not struggle. Just a moment of gratitude. Because sometimes the smallest habit creates the biggest change. Thing 2, they move their body every day. Let me ask you something honestly. As the years have passed, have you noticed your body becoming a little slower, a little stiffer, a little heavier than before? Maybe getting out of bed takes more effort. Maybe your knees don't feel as strong. Maybe even walking a short distance feels tiring. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to move less. You sit more. You rest more. You avoid unnecessary steps. And it feels natural. It feels understandable. But here's something very important you need to hear today. The happiest people after 70 do not stop moving. In fact, they make movement a part of their daily life. Not heavy exercise, not intense workouts, just simple, gentle, consistent movement. Because they understand one powerful truth. When you stop moving, life becomes heavier. When you keep moving, life feels lighter. Let me tell you about Ahmed. Ahmed is 81 years old. He lives in a quiet neighborhood. His children are busy with their own lives, and most of his day he spends alone. A few years ago, Ahmed stopped moving much. He would sit for long hours, watching television, thinking about the past. At first it felt comfortable, but slowly, his legs became weak. His back started hurting more. His mood became heavy. And one day he said something that stayed with me. I feel like I'm slowly disappearing. Not because he was sick, but because he had stopped living actively. Then something changed. One morning, he decided to step outside his house, just for 5 minutes. That's all. He walked slowly, holding the wall at first, feeling unsure, but he kept going. The next day he did it again, and again. After a few weeks, that 5-minute walk became 10 minutes. Then 15, and something amazing happened. His body felt stronger. His breathing felt easier. His mind felt clearer, but more importantly, his heart felt alive again. He said, "I'm not walking to become young again. I'm walking so I don't feel old." That is the difference. Because movement is not about age. It's about energy. And the happiest seniors, they protect that energy every single day. Now listen carefully. You don't need to run. You don't need to lift weights. You don't need to do anything difficult. Even small movements can change your life. Walking around your home, stretching your arms and legs, standing up every hour, walking outside for fresh air, doing light chores. These are not small things. They are life-giving habits. Because when you move your body, your blood flows better. Your muscles stay active. Your joints remain flexible. And something even deeper happens. Your mood improves.
Yes.
Movement is not just physical. It is emotional healing. Have you ever noticed, when you sit all day doing nothing, your thoughts become heavier? You start thinking more, worrying more, feeling lonely. But when you move, even a little, your mind becomes lighter. That is why the happiest people after 70 never stay still for too long. They respect their body. They listen to it. But they don't let it become inactive. And here's something very important. You don't have to wait for motivation. You don't have to feel strong. Start small. Even if today you only walk for 3 minutes, that is enough. Because consistency is more powerful than intensity. Ahmed didn't change his life overnight. He changed it step by step. And you can too. So tomorrow, try this simple habit. When you wake up, don't sit for too long. Stand up slowly. Stretch your arms. Take a few steps. Even if it feels difficult, do it gently. Because every step you take is a step toward a better life. And remember this, your body may be older, but it still needs movement. Not punishment, not pressure, just care. Because when you take care of your body takes care of you. And slowly, day by day, you will feel something beautiful. More strength, more energy, more life. And one day, just like Ahmed, you will say, I may be 80, but I still feel alive. Thing 3, they spend time in sunlight and fresh air. Let me ask you something very simple. When was the last time you sat outside and just felt the sunlight on your face? Not rushing, not thinking about anything, just sitting, breathing, feeling the warmth. If you're honest, for many people after 70, this becomes rare. Days are spent inside the house, curtains half closed, television on, time passing quietly. And slowly, without realizing it, The world outside becomes distant. But the happiest people after 70, they do something different. No matter how they feel, no matter how busy or tired they are, they make time for sunlight and fresh air. Because they understand something powerful. The body needs light, and the heart needs space. Let me tell you about Rahima. Rahima is 76 years old. She lives in a small home, and for many years, she rarely stepped outside. After her husband passed away, she felt heavy inside. She stayed in her room most of the day, windows closed, lights dim, and slowly, her energy dropped. Her mood became dull. Her days felt longer but emptier. She once said, "I feel tired even when I do nothing." And that's when her neighbor noticed something. One day, her neighbor gently said, "Come sit outside with me just for a few minutes." Rahima didn't feel like it, but she agreed. She walked slowly, sat on a chair outside, and for the first time in a long while, she felt the sunlight on her skin. The warmth, the gentle breeze, the sound of birds, nothing extraordinary, but something shifted inside her. The next day she did it again, just 10 minutes, then 15. And after a few weeks, she said something beautiful. "I don't feel as heavy anymore, like something inside me has opened." That is the power of sunlight and fresh air. Because this is not just about the body, it's about the soul. When you stay inside all day, your world becomes smaller, your thoughts become louder, your loneliness feels deeper. But when you step outside, even for a few minutes, your mind expands, your breathing improves, your mood lifts, and something very important happens. You feel connected to life again. Now listen carefully. You don't need a park. You don't need a big garden. Even if you have a small balcony, a window with sunlight, a quiet street outside your home, that is enough. Just sit there, feel the light. Take slow breaths and allow yourself to be present. Because sunlight is not just light, it is healing. It helps your body produce vitamin D. It strengthens your bones. It improves your sleep. But beyond all that, it brings warmth to your heart. And fresh air. It clears your mind. It gives you space to think or not think at all. The happiest seniors know this. They don't wait for a special reason. They don't say, "I'll go outside when I feel better." They go outside to feel better. That is the difference. Now I want to give you a small challenge. Tomorrow, at any time of the day, step outside or sit near sunlight for just 10 minutes. No phone, no distractions, just you and the moment. Feel the air. Notice the light. Even close your eyes and breathe slowly. And ask yourself, how do I feel right now? You may notice something subtle, a small sense of calm, a little more energy, a little less heaviness. And over time, this small habit will become something you look forward to. Rahima now says, "My favorite part of the day is sitting in the sunlight." Not because her life became perfect, but because she found a small moment of peace. And that's what happiness after 70 really is. Not big excitement, but small, peaceful moments. So my dear friend, don't stay inside your worries. Step outside even just a little, because sometimes the light you need is already waiting for you outside. Thing 4, they stay connected with people. Let me ask you something, and answer this honestly in your heart. When was the last time you had a real conversation with someone? Not just a few words, not just hello or how are you, but a moment where you felt heard, where you felt connected, where you didn't feel alone. Because after 70, one of the quietest struggles is not physical pain, it's loneliness. The house becomes quieter, the phone rings less, people get busy with their own lives, and slowly, days begin to pass without meaningful connection. You may be surrounded by people, but still feel alone inside. And this feeling is something many seniors don't talk about. But the happiest people after 70, they understand something deeply important. Happiness grows when it is shared. Silence becomes heavy when it is not. That's why they make a small but powerful effort. They stay connected with people, not in a big way, not with large gatherings, just simple human connection. Let me tell you about David. David is 77 years old. He lives alone in a small apartment. His children love him, but they live far away. They call sometimes, but not every day. At first, David spent most of his time alone. He would sit quietly, watch television, eat alone, and slowly he began to feel something heavy inside. Not sadness exactly, just emptiness. He once said, "The hardest part of my day is having no one to talk to." Then one day, something small happened. He went to a nearby shop to buy some groceries. The shopkeeper smiled and said, "How are you today?" And for a moment, David paused. Then he replied, "I'm doing okay, thank you." It was a short conversation, nothing special, but when he returned home, he felt something different. He didn't feel as alone. The next day, he went to the same shop again, then again, and slowly, that small interaction became part of his life. He started talking to neighbors, greeting people, smiling more, and over time, that heavy silence inside him began to fade. He later said something very powerful. "I didn't need many people. I just needed a few moments of connection." That is the truth. Because after 70, it's not about how many people you have, it's about how connected you feel. And connection doesn't have to be big. It can be a phone call to an old friend, a short chat with a neighbor, a smile and greeting during a walk, a kind conversation with a shopkeeper, even a few words with someone at the mosque, church, or community center. These small moments keep your heart alive because human beings were never meant to live in emotional isolation. Even the strongest person needs connection. Now listen carefully. Many people wait for others to reach out. They think, "Why doesn't anyone call me? Why don't people visit me?" And slowly, they feel forgotten. But the happiest seniors, they don't wait. They take the first step. They make the call. They start the conversation. They open the door to connection. And yes, sometimes people are busy. Sometimes the response is short. But that doesn't matter, because every small connection adds light to your day. Now I want to give you something simple, a small step you can take starting today. Think of one person, just one. It could be a friend, a relative, a neighbor, and today, call them, not for a long conversation. Just to say, "I was thinking about you, how are you?" That's it. You don't need anything more, and you will be surprised how much lighter your heart feels. Because connection is not just about talking. It's about feeling seen. It's about feeling remembered. It's about feeling alive. David now says, "Some days I only speak to one or two people, but that's enough to make my day feel complete." And that is the secret. Because happiness after 70 is not found in silence. It is found in shared moments. So my dear friend, don't let your world become too quiet. Don't let your heart carry everything alone. Reach out, speak, connect, smile, because sometimes one small conversation can change your entire day. Thing 5. They keep their mind active and curious. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever felt like your mind is not as sharp as it used to be? Maybe you forget names. Maybe you walk into a room and forget why you came. Maybe you struggle to remember small things. And slowly a thought begins to grow inside you. Maybe I'm getting too old. Maybe my mind is slowing down. And because of that, you stop challenging yourself. You stop learning new things. You stop trying. You avoid anything that feels mentally difficult. And without realizing it, your world becomes smaller. But the happiest people after 70, they do something very different. They refuse to let their mind go quiet. They keep their mind active. They stay curious. They keep learning no matter their age, because they understand something powerful. The moment you stop using your mind, you start feeling old. Let me tell you about Fatima. Fatima is 80 years old. She never had the chance to go to school when she was young. Life was difficult. She focused on family responsibilities, survival. Learning was never part of her life. But after she turned 75, something inside her changed. She said, "I don't want my life to end without learning something new." So she made a decision. She started learning how to read. At first, it was very difficult. She struggled with letters. She forgot words. She felt slow. Many times she wanted to give up. But she didn't. Every day, just 10-15 minutes. She practiced, slowly, letter by letter, word by word. And after 1 year, She could read simple sentences. The day she read her first full paragraph, she cried. Not because it was easy, but because she proved something to herself. That she was still capable, still growing, still alive inside. And do you know what changed the most? Her happiness. She said, "My body is old, but my mind feels young again." That is the power of keeping your mind active. Because after 70, your body may slow down, but your mind can still expand. And the happiest seniors protect that. They don't say, "I'm too old to learn." They say, "I'm still alive, so I can still learn." Now listen carefully. Keeping your mind active does not mean doing something complicated. It can be simple things like reading a book or newspaper, watching educational videos, learning a new skill, solving puzzles or crosswords, writing your thoughts, even having meaningful conversations. These small activities keep your brain alive because your mind is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it becomes weak. But if you use it regularly, it becomes stronger, sharper, more alive. And there's something even deeper. When your mind is active, you don't feel stuck in the past. You don't sit all day thinking about what you lost. You begin to look forward to something again. You feel curious. You feel interested. You feel engaged with life. And that feeling is happiness. Now I want to share something very important with you. Many people are afraid of making mistakes at this age. They feel embarrassed to try new things. They think, "What if I fail? What will people think?" But the happiest people after 70, they are not afraid of being beginners. They don't care if they are slow. They don't care if they make mistakes. Because they understand trying is more important than being perfect. Fatima used to laugh and say, "I read like a child, but at least I'm reading." And that simple attitude changed her life. So my dear friend, I want to give you a small step. Starting today, choose one thing, just one, that will challenge your mind. It can be very simple. Spend 10 minutes learning something new, reading something, thinking deeply, just 10 minutes, and do it every day. Because over time, those 10 minutes will change how you feel. You will feel more alert, more confident, more alive, and one day, you will realize something beautiful. You are not just getting older, you are still growing. And that is the secret. Because happiness after 70 is not about staying the same. It's about continuing to grow in small ways. So never tell yourself it's too late. Because as long as your mind is active, it is never too late. Thing 6. They enjoy simple, nourishing meals with peace. Let me ask you something honestly. When you sit down to eat, do you truly enjoy your food? Or do you just eat without thinking? Maybe the TV is on. Maybe your mind is busy. Maybe you're eating quickly just to finish. And sometimes, food becomes just a routine, not a moment. But the happiest people after 70, they do something very different. They don't rush their meals. They don't eat with distraction. They turn eating into a peaceful experience because they understand something simple but powerful. How you eat matters just as much as what you eat. Let me tell you about George. George is 83 years old. After his wife passed away, everything in his life changed, especially his meals. Before, meals were moments of connection, laughter, conversation. But now, he sat alone at the table. At first, he lost interest in food. He would eat quickly, sometimes skip meals, sometimes just drink tea and go to bed. And slowly, his energy dropped. His body became weaker, and his mood became dull. He once said, "Food doesn't taste the same when you eat alone." And that's something many people feel but don't say. But one day, George made a small decision. He decided to respect his meals again. The next morning, he prepared a simple breakfast. Nothing fancy, just eggs, bread, and tea. But this time, he didn't turn on the TV. He sat quietly. He looked at his food. He took a deep breath, and before eating, he said softly, "Thank you." Then he began to eat slowly. He noticed the taste, the warmth, the feeling of each bite, and something changed. It wasn't just food anymore. It became a moment of peace. From that day, George created a small routine. He prepared simple meals. He sat properly at the table. He ate slowly. He stayed present. And over time, his energy improved. His mood lifted. His body felt stronger. But more importantly, he didn't feel empty anymore while eating. He later said something very powerful. I may eat alone, but I don't eat with loneliness anymore. That is the difference. Because after 70, meals are not just about feeding the body. They are about calming the heart. Now listen carefully. You don't need expensive food. You don't need complicated recipes. Even simple meals can bring happiness. A warm bowl of soup, fresh fruits, home-cooked food, a cup of tea or coffee. What matters is not luxury. What matters is presence. When you eat slowly, when you pay attention, when you appreciate your food, your body digests better, your mind relaxes, your heart feels comfort, and there's something else. When you eat with peace, you respect yourself. You tell yourself, I matter, my health matters, my life matters. And that feeling
builds quiet happiness.
Now I want to share something important. Many seniors lose interest in food, not because they don't need it, but because they feel alone. But the happiest people, they don't let loneliness take away their care for themselves, even if they eat alone. They create a peaceful environment. Some play soft music. Some sit near a window. Some simply enjoy the silence. But they don't rush. They don't ignore the moment. They honor it. And you can do the same. So starting today, try this small habit. When you sit down for your next meal, turn off distractions. Sit comfortably, take a deep breath, look at your food, and before you begin, say quietly, thank you. Then eat slowly. Taste each bite. Allow yourself to be present. Even if it's just one meal a day, make it peaceful. Because over time, this small habit will change how you feel. You will notice more calmness, better digestion, more appreciation for life. And one day, just like George, you will say, I don't just eat to survive. I eat to feel alive. Thing 7. They end the day with peace, not regret. Let me ask you something gently. When the night comes and you lie down in your bed, what fills your mind? Is it peace or is it worry? Do you replay things from the past? Regret things you said? Feel hurt by things others did? Or do you slowly close your eyes with a calm heart ready to rest? Because after 70, the way you end your day becomes just as important as how you started. And the happiest people after 70, they have learned a quiet secret. They do not carry the weight of the day into the night. They let it go. Not because their life is perfect, but because they understand something deeply powerful. A peaceful night creates a peaceful life. Let me tell you about Hassan. Hassan is 82 years old. He has lived a long life, full of experiences, some beautiful, some painful. But one thing he struggled with was his nights. Every evening, when he lay down in bed, his mind would become busy. He would think about the past, mistakes he made, people he lost, words he wished he could take back. And sometimes he would feel regret. Other times he would feel anger. And because of that, he couldn't sleep peacefully. His body was tired, but his mind was heavy. He once said, "The night feels longer than the day because my thoughts don't let me rest." Many people experience this, but they don't talk about it because it happens silently. But one evening, Hassan made a small change. Instead of lying down with all those thoughts, he sat quietly on his bed. He took a deep breath and he asked himself, what am I holding on to that I need to release? At first, it felt strange, but slowly he began to understand. He realized he was carrying things that he could no longer change. So that night, he did something simple. He said softly, I forgive myself. I forgive others, and I let this day go. That's all. No long speech. No complicated ritual. Just a quiet decision. And that night, for the first time in a long time, he slept peacefully. The next day, he did it again and again. And over time, something beautiful happened. His nights became calmer. His sleep became deeper. His heart became lighter. He later said, I didn't change my past. I just stopped carrying it into my future. That is the secret. Because after 70, you have lived many years. You have seen many things. And if you carry everything, it becomes too heavy. But the happiest people, they travel light. They don't hold on to every regret. They don't replay every mistake. They understand what is done is done. What matters is how I feel now. Now listen carefully. Ending your day with peace does not mean ignoring your problems. It means not letting them control your mind at night. It means giving yourself permission to rest, to breathe, to be free even for a few hours. And you can do this too. Here is a simple habit. Tonight, before you sleep, sit quietly for a moment. Turn off distractions. Close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I holding on to today? Maybe it's a small argument. Maybe it's a regret. Maybe it's a worry. Whatever it is, say quietly, I let this go. I have done enough today. I deserve to rest. You don't need anything more. No perfection. No answers. Just release. Because your mind needs rest just like your body. And when you sleep with peace, you wake up with strength. Hassan now says something very powerful. Every night I close my eyes, not with fear, but with acceptance. And that is what creates true happiness. Not a perfect life, but a peaceful heart. So my dear friend, don't take today's burdens into tomorrow. Don't carry yesterday's pain into tonight. Let it go. Forgive, release, rest. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is a peaceful night. My dear friend, if you've stayed with me until this moment, I want you to pause just for a second. Take a slow breath and ask yourself gently, am I truly living or just passing time? Because after 70, life doesn't end, but it changes. The noise becomes quieter, the days become slower, and sometimes the world feels a little distant. And in those quiet moments, it's easy to feel like something is missing. But today you've discovered something important. Happiness is not far away. It's not in big achievements. It's not in waiting for others. It's not in changing your entire life overnight. It's in the small things. The way you wake up, the way you move, the way you sit in the sunlight, the way you speak to someone, the way you keep your mind alive, the way you enjoy your meal, and the way you let go at night. These are not just habits. These are choices. And every day, you still have the power to choose. You can choose to begin your morning with gratitude instead of worry, to take a few steps instead of staying still, to feel the warmth of sunlight instead of sitting in darkness, to connect with someone instead of staying silent, to learn something new instead of giving up, to enjoy your meals instead of rushing through them, and to sleep with peace instead of carrying everything in your heart. My dear friend, you don't need a perfect life to be happy. You don't need everything to go your way. You just need to care for yourself in small, gentle ways. Because happiness after 70 is not about becoming younger. It's about becoming lighter. Lighter in your thoughts, lighter in your heart, lighter in how you carry your life. And remember this, even now, your life still matters. Your present still matters. Your story is not over. There are still moments waiting for you. A peaceful morning, a warm conversation, a quiet smile, a calm night. And these moments are enough to create a beautiful life. So starting tomorrow, don't try to change everything at once. Just choose one small habit and begin, slowly, gently, without pressure. Because even the smallest step can lead to a more peaceful life. And before you leave, I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 habits touched your heart the most? Write it in the comments, because your voice matters here.